What I found out over the years is that there's only one thing at the heart of cancer, at the heart of multiple sclerosis, ALS. I should also tell you that at age 53, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I took stimulant medications for some years in treatment. So I became very interested in childhood development, mental issues, and brain development. Whether it was physical illness, such as the ones I mentioned, or any other physical illness, rheumatoid arthritis, anything else, or addiction, or mental illness of any kind, or the preponderance of childhood developmental disorders that are burgeoning in North America right now, with millions of children on stimulant medications for ADHD, 500,000 kids in your country on antipsychotic medications, not because they're psychotic, but because we don't know. When I say we, I mean doctors, teachers, parents, don't know how to regulate the child's behavior without medications. And it's an experiment because we have no idea what the long-term effects of antipsychotics will be on the developing brain of the child. In Vancouver, they've had to establish a special clinic at Children's Hospital just to deal with the side effects of the antipsychotic medications, which include diabetes, weight gain, personality changes, skin changes, the whole thing. But this is what we're doing. The approach always is reactive. Somebody gets rheumatoid arthritis. What do? We give them steroid medications or immune suppressant medications because in rheumatoid arthritis, the immune system attacks the body, so we suppress the immune system. Or with ADHD, there's something going on in the brain. Let's change the chemistry with stimulant medications, which can make a helpful difference, actually. But we're always reacting to manifestations. There was a case in the States. A kid 8 or 9 or 10 years old in handcuffs by the school security officer. This same thing is happening in Canada. We're just reacting to the behavior. My approach is different. When I wrote my book on ADHD, the Canadian title was *Scattered Minds*, on the origins and healing of attention deficit disorder. The American subtitle was changed to *Scattered, how ADHD originates and what you can do about it *. It's this can-do self-helpism I'm saying. Let's just look at it first, get present to it, be aware of it, see how it arises. Then out of that understanding will come the solutions. As Thomas Shass said, when you get the *, what *, then you know the *, how *. In North America, we're addicted to the *, how *, but not to the *, what *. We don't look deeply enough. We react to symptoms, behaviors, manifestations that are troublesome, pathological. There's no look at the source. Here's what I found out. Whether we're looking at mental illness, depression, anxiety, PTSD, ALS, cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, behavior problems, we're looking at one thing only: the impact of early childhood stress on the individual. And that stress happens in a social context. The ideology of Western medicine separates the mind from the body. It doesn't understand that in rheumatoid arthritis, in ALS, there are physical manifestations of lifelong emotional patterns and early stresses. The disease itself is an outcome of that. If the individual could change their relationship to their emotions, how they function in the world, how they take on stress automatically, what kind of relationships they're in, what kind of work they're doing, how they feel about themselves, that can significantly affect the course of the illness. In a positive sense, if they get present to themselves, many examples of that. But my profession, despite a preponderance of evidence, ignores it. It doesn't compute. Emotions don't compute. Let's look at ADHD for a moment. I was diagnosed at 53. I don't have time to tell you how early stresses translate into illness. That's another conversation. But here's a simple example. You have a 2-year-old. They get angry with you. If your 2-year-old doesn't get angry with you, you're not doing your job. She can't have that second cookie before dinner. Why shouldn't she be upset? When you want something and don't get it, you get frustrated. She gets frustrated. But what if you grew up in a home where your parent was a rageaholic and you're terrified of anger. It brings up too much anxiety. So you give the signal, overtly or covertly, that good little girls don't get angry. What the child gets is, little girls who get angry don't get loved. So how does she adapt? She represses her anger. That's how she maintains the relationship with you. The fundamental dynamic in human life, the most important factor in development and existence, is attachment, connection to another human being. As infants we're utterly helpless, more helpless, and for longer than any other creature. Without that attachment relationship, we can't survive. It's life, essential. We evolved as a species of attachment. It's a gravitational force that pulls two bodies together. Love makes the world go around. Love as the common word for attachment, where someone's taking care of someone, holding someone, being held. Gravitation itself is an attachment force. It pulls two bodies together. Literally, gravitation makes the world go around the sun. So when they say love makes the world go around, it's true in the purest physical sense. It's also true psychologically. By love here, I don't mean the emotion parents feel toward the child. I take it for granted all parents love their kids, even the ones who abuse them. They just don't know how else to love, acting out their own childhood programming. Love is the capacity to be present with, understand, see the other human being for exactly who they are, accept them, invite them unconditionally to be in your presence exactly as they are. That's what love actually is. I was completely incapable of giving that to my kids because I was still dealing with my own childhood stuff. When children don't receive that unconditional positive regard, they have to adapt. Why? They need the attachment relationship to survive. So they adapt. If at age 2 she gets the message she's not invited to be in your presence when angry, she won't be angry. The anger doesn't disappear. She represses it. It's not conscious. It's an automatic brain mechanism. When you repress anger long-term, you repress your immune system. Studies show this. The immune system can fail to function or turn against you autoimmune illness. That's a major source of physical illnesses, utterly ignored in Western medicine despite reams of evidence. That's the subject of my book, Asterisk, When the Body Says No, Asterisk. What I'm saying is, emotional loss translates into biology. Emotions and biology are inseparable. What happens emotionally manifests biologically. It begins with brain development. I got interested in brain development when diagnosed with ADHD at 53. It was a self-diagnosis. A friend told me she'd been diagnosed. 5 minutes into coffee, I knew why she asked me. Everything she described, distractibility, poor impulse control, inability to stay on task unless highly motivated, hyper, focusing when motivated, addictive patterns, Jekyll and Hyde with my kids, was me. Within months, 2 of my kids were diagnosed. Mainstream view, genetic disorder, I never bought it. Why? Tuning out, absent. Mindedness in ad isn't a disease. What is tuning out? An adaptive response to stress. If I stress you now, verbally abusive, domineering, you go into stress, how to cope, walk out, confront me, ask for help. If none possible, your brain dissociates, you're not here, you suffer less, it's a coping response. Here's a quote from a 2012 Asterisk Journal of Pediatrics Asterisk article, Harvard Center on the Developing Child. Growing scientific evidence demonstrates that social and physical environments that threaten human development because of scarcity, stress, or instability can lead to short-term physiologic and psychological adjustments necessary for immediate survival and adaptation, but which may come at a significant cost in long-term outcomes in learning, behavior, health, and longevity. What's adaptive short-term becomes a long-term trait, source of pathology. That's what I intuited about tuning out, but what I didn't know, astonishing now, is how the brain develops in interaction with the environment. Potentials are genetic, trajectory of circuits when they develop, genetic. But asterisk, how asterisk they unfold, connect, which systems dominate, not genetic, depends on interaction with environment. Brain scans of ADHD, addicted, Mentally ill adults show patterns. AHA, brain disease. American Society of Addiction Medicine, primary brain disease, 50% genetic. Nonsense, not even 5% genetic. What they see in adult scans reflects early experience. The brain is shaped by early experience. Take ADHD kid, give Ritalin, Dexedrine, Adderall elevate dopamine, dopamine, incentive, motivation. Stimulants give dopamine hit. Cocaine, nicotine, meth addicts seek that to feel alive. Self-medication, that's what we give ADHD kids. Separate infant monkeys from mothers, dopamine levels plummet in a week. Isolate rats, dopamine receptors diminish. Solitary confinement messes with brains. The brain responds physiologically to psychosocial environment, most in childhood, but throughout life. To see humans as separate entities, illness as organ problems, scientifically nonsense. That's how medicine is practiced. Children of stressed parents, much more likely asthma. California study, polluted areas have more asthma, but most in kids with stressed parents. Parents' emotions program child's lung physiology. Asthma meds, steroids, adrenaline copies, stress hormones. Adrenal glands produce them under stress. These kids overstressed by parents' stress. Mechanisms exhausted. We give extra stress hormones to open airways. Cortisol, commonest med for rheumatoid arthritis, colitis, MS, psoriasis, eczema, lung conditions. Stress hormone, might we ask, is this lifelong impact of stress, biology of loss, originating in childhood? Medical profession doesn't ask, here's problem, here's solution, not looking. 2 more sentences from Harvard. The architecture of the brain is constructed through an ongoing process that begins before birth, continues into adulthood, and establishes either a sturdy or fragile foundation for all the health, learning, and behavior that follow. The interactions of genes and experiences literally shape the circuitry of the developing brain, and is critically influenced by the mutual responsiveness of adult-child relationships, particularly in the early childhood years. Most significant factor shaping brain physiology, emotional relationship with parenting environment, necessary for optimal development, rarely available in North America. Parents emotionally available, consistently available, non-stressed, non-depressed, attuned to child. Anything interfering with parents' capacity impacts brain development. My ADHD, born Budapest, Hungary, 1944, Jewish parents, WW2. At 2 months, Nazis occupy Hungary. Genocide had exterminated most Eastern European Jews. Hungary's turn. Day after Wehrmacht marches in, my mother calls pediatrician. Please see Gabor, he's crying all the time. Pediatrician, of course, but all my Jewish babies are crying. What do infants know of Nazis, Hitler, genocide? Nothing. We respond to mother's stress. Mother's stress programs our brains. University of Washington. EG of 6 month-olds, mothers with postpartum depression vs. Not. You could tell from infants' EG whose mother was depressed. Mother's emotional state programs child's brain electricity or chemistry, like dopamine. Quote from A.H. Alma's, the child is very open and can feel the pain and suffering going on in its immediate environment. The child is aware of its own body and can also feel the tension, rigidity, and pain in the body of the mother or anyone else he's with. If the mother's suffering, the baby suffers too. Pain never gets discharged. As a 2-month-old, first year of life, mother depressed, terrorized, grieving parents' death in Auschwitz, husband in forced labor. What do you do with that pain? Tune it out. When, during brain development, first year, millions of connections per second in periods, adaptation of tuning out becomes trait. 2 years later, ADHD diagnosis. My kids, grew up Vancouver, no war, no abuse, no addiction. I was workaholic physician, message I got early, not wanted, Not that mother didn't want me, for child to feel wanted. Mother must be happy, emotionally present. Children, narcissistic, not pejorative, reality. Think it's about them. Narcissistic personality like Donald Trump, highly traumatized, still thinks it's about him. Didn't get needs met. Personality we develop, adaptation. My kids, I wasn't wanted, so compensate, make myself needed. Available 24/7, never say no to patients. Leaves kids feeling unwanted. Daddy not around, mommy stressed. They tune out. Diagnosed genetic, nonsense. Multigenerational trauma affecting brain development. Why preponderance of childhood disorders, autism 40, fold increase, bipolar, depression, anxiety, ADHD, conduct disorders, oppositional defiant disorder, which doesn't exist, figment of imagination, behavior problems, learning difficulties. Biology of loss affecting children's brains. We respond with medications, behavior control, instead of what's going on, children acting out lost attachment relationships. When adults absent, especially in your country, barbaric maternal leave, 6 weeks unpaid. Child needs mother at least 9 months, ideally 3 years, or father, nurturing parent. Put in daycares where workers untrained in attachment. Attachment not taught in medical school, education, child care training. All mechanics, behavior, children programmed to attach, like duckling imprints on mother, biological, non-negotiable. If intended adults not there, attached to whoever is. Duckling attaches to mechanical toy, horse, none can raise it. Our children, adults absent or not nurturing, attached to peers. That's my book, hold on to your kids, Children necessarily attach to other children, become each other's models. Orientation, how to be, talk, walk, from attachment figures. In tribal cultures, Darsha Narvi studies optimal parenting, hunter-gatherers, multiplicity of adult attachments, uncles, aunts, elders, grandparents, cousins, whole tribe parents, child, children never put down. No, cry it out, a barbaric custom taught by doctors, sleep specialists, teaching parents ignore attachment needs, message to kid, world doesn't care, goes back to sleep to escape pain, imprints, world doesn't care. Buddha, with our minds we create the world, modern psychology, before that, the world creates our minds, mind ignored, not present, we won't be present to ourselves, suppress anger, be super nice, or attract attention, $30 billion cosmetic surgery industry. Adaptations to loss, personality, not who we are, adaptation. Donald Trump identified with his reality of our society, this is how it is, we may not wish it, but it is, frustration, resentment, our resistance to reality. Be at peace with how it is. Then what? Schools teach math, science, not most important, how to be a human being, how to be with what is. Emotions arise, be with them. Thoughts arise, be with them. Recognize you're not your thoughts, not your emotions, not taught formally. Kids don't understand mindful awareness. You are mindful awareness. Work on yourself, create space. When engaging another, be with them exactly as they are. No agenda, resentment, resistance, anxiety, reactivity. When children act out, understand, acting out, no words, so act it, charades, no speaking, acted out, foreign country, want food, no words, acted out. Kids, adults, addicts acting out trauma. Downtown East Side, not one female patient not sexually abused as child. Hundreds interviewed, men traumatized, research, huge correlation addiction, trauma, addiction, any behavior, temporary pleasure, relief, craving, long-term negative consequences. Not about drugs, most addicts, sex, food, shopping, work, internet, sports. Nothing wrong with eating, sports, but addictive relationship to it. By that definition, how many had addictive behavior sometime? Pause for hands, what was good? Energy, relief from pain, stress. Power, nothing wrong with that, normal aspirations. Free of pain, power in life, energized. Problem, why lack power? Why lack energy? Why so much stress/pain needed numbing? Why no healthier way to handle stress, creating more stress? Addiction not fundamental problem. Response, adaptation. Biology of loss, stressed or traumatized kids, brain circuits, dopamine, endorphins, stress hormones, not developing properly. Drugs, behaviors regulate brain temporarily. Adaptation, to prevent, recognize what's going on in kids' lives. Healers, educators, our mindfulness, capacity to be present without panic. If panic, recognize ours, not child's. Open space for unconditional presence, guide toward learning how to be, not do, but be, comfortable with themselves. I'm going to stop to take questions. Quick definition again. Addiction, any behavior, temporary pleasure/relief, craving, long-term negative consequences. Includes substances, but mostly not. How many acknowledge addictive behavior sometime? Hands, what did it give short? Term, energy, relief, power. Problem wasn't addiction. Why the lack, the pain, the stress? Everything is adaptation, biology of loss.